Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You okay if I remove this? Is that all right?
Go for
Okay.
it.
Far enough back.
So I know that you're hopping in here because
Yeah.
you're obviously at judiciary, but I
Yes.
want to know what's your reaction to this hearing today, to this review of Capitol security? I know that you just got to question them.
Yeah.
They're being kind of removed from their positions, resigning from their positions, if
Right.
you're concerned that this is what Capitol security leader list.
Well, at this point, I mean, a review needs to be done. There needs to be a very thorough review, and you could hear just in my questions lots of disputed facts. I mean, on pretty basic matters. When was the National Guard requested? They disagree about that. Was it ever actually requested? Mr. Sun says yes. Mr. Irving says no. Mr. Stinger didn't testify to that point. A lot of dispute about was there delay because of input from the congressional leadership. Under the statute, the congressional leadership in an emergency doesn't need to be consulted. So whether that's the speaker, the majority leader, or the minority, anybody, they don't need to be consulted. And you have two very different views of that. So my impression is we've got a lot of basic facts here that we still don't know that need to be ascertained. Senator Scott asked about the current deployment of the National Guard. Thousands and thousands and thousands of troops. None of them have any idea about why that is. The D.C. Police Chief couldn't speak to that. So, I mean, we're looking at a lot here of unknowns. The only other thing I would say is I had the opportunity to ask them again, or to ask them, I should say each, at the end about General Honore's comments. This is an individual that the Speaker has selected to lead some sort of a review. General Honore said that both of the sergeants at arms and the Capitol Hill Police were potentially complicit in the mob violence in this building on January 6th, and also took potentially complicit actions. Those are his words. There was a very strong reaction when I asked those individuals if they were complicit. They said, of course not, and they said it was a stain on their honor to suggest so, and it is in fact a stain on the honor of the entire force that they lead. That General Honore has absolutely no business leading anything related to this. Those comments are unbelievable, totally inappropriate, and Speaker Pelosi should remove him from any sort of involvement.
Do you have plans to meet with him, or do you know if
No.
the committee's going to meet with him?
I don't know the answer to that, but I certainly don't have plans to meet with him personally. My view is that he's totally inappropriate. His remarks are totally inappropriate. This is not even getting to his long-time criticism of law enforcement all across this country. He has called them names. He has criticized the deployment of the National Guard in security situations before. He has excused rioting and other circumstances. I mean, this is somebody who has no business leading a security review. But just to these officers to have said what they did on January the 6th was complicit in an attack, I just think is unbelievable.
Senator, what do you
Yes,
say
ma'am.
to your fellow senators and to Americans who
Yeah.
believe that you are complicit in this attack?
That's outrageous. I would say it's absolutely outrageous and an utter lie, and no one, I think, who knows any of the facts alleges any such thing.
Do you regret any of your actions leading up to this, walking by some of the insurrectionists, raising your fist like that?
No, first of all, let me just stop you right there. You call them insurrectionists. I mean, folks who I walked by when I was on my way into the House chamber were standing there peacefully behind police barricades off of the plaza, the Capitol of the United States. They have a First Amendment right to be there. They don't have a First Amendment right to riot, as some of them later did. But, even during the House impeachment, or the House impeachment managers during impeachment last week said over and over again, protesters can protest and gather in this city. They can come and be at the Capitol. So they have every right to be there. That's perfectly fine. But what they cannot do is violate the law. What they cannot do is engage in violence. What they cannot do is violate the statutes of the United States. And those who did ought to be prosecuted and go to prison.
One last question.
Yes, ma'am.
I have another one
Yeah.
on business people
Yeah.
topic. Merrick Garland,
Right.
do you plan to support his nomination?
I haven't decided yet. I have some more questions that I want to ask him. I need to review also what he said to other senators yesterday. I was disappointed in a number of his answers. I was really surprised that he would refuse to commit categorically to continuing the Google antitrust prosecution. It's the most important antitrust prosecution, at least since Microsoft, maybe in half a century. I was also really surprised that he wouldn't commit to keeping illegal entry at our borders actually a crime. He was very, very cagey, did not want to commit to that, also did not want to commit to keeping the asylum protocols in place. All of that was, I thought, really surprising. He ducked a lot of questions about the Durham report. So questions that, Attorney General Barr, for instance, in his same position answered. So that gives me a lot of pause, but I need to finish reviewing the record. Okay, all right, good to see you guys. Good to see you. No, I'm opposed to earmarks. Did you say earmarks? I'm against.
Yeah, okay, thank you.